Hi, Ghosties. I'm Macy.
And I'm Natalie.
And as we did last Monday, we have another themed listener stories episode.
Woo, 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 woo. I'm excited, whatever it is.
We're revisiting a topic that caused Natalie and I much introspection and confusion.
No.
A glitch in the Matrix.
God.
These are your glitch in the Matrix experiences.
I had just stopped kind of thinking about that episode and trying to be like, is this real? Is it not? And now we're going to talk about it again. And I think it's going to make me spiral again, even more.
I think you won't be alone.
Probably not. So that's fine.
And before we get in, I just want to check in with everybody. Like, how are you? How are you doing? Can we all take a collective deep breath?
I can't breathe.
Okay. All but Natalie, take a collective deep breath. How are you? Let us know.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Because I am stressed, depressed, and filled with unrest.
Yeah.
That just came to me.
Okay. Actually, wow, I'm impressed with that. Filled with unrest. I was going to say filled with rage, but I think I'm always filled with rage.
You are. I think that's a default setting for you.
You really, yeah.
Like since birth. So, fun fact, me and Kayla used to say that Natalie was going to go to prison because she was mean. She was a mean baby and a mean toddler.
Yeah.
And we used to say like, oh, I'm going to be a pop star and Kayla was going to be a vet and Natalie was going to be in prison.
And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I was all for it. Which that's so funny because that's a real fear of mine, ending up in jail for something I didn't do. Like every time I've gotten pulled over, I'm like, I have a warrant.
Well,
they're about to put me in cuffs.
If anything like that happens, you'll just glitch and end up in a new timeline.
I can't. We just have to get through this episode because every time I'm driving at night, I'm like, I'm about to slip into a different time zone. Everything I know is going to be different. Okay. I send myself too far.
Collective deep breath when you can, when you're capable. Our tea today is a new one. It's David's Tea Salted Caramel Oolong.
It smells fantastic.
Heavenly.
So let's go.
It kind of has a coffee taste.
I was
almost
going to say it tastes like a little bitter, like coffee, maybe?
But in the best way, because I'm not a big coffee person.
No, me neither. I don't drink any coffee.
I don't know if it's just my mood, the time, what it is. I really like this.
I like it.
You do?
Yeah. It's a glitch.
I looked at you.
I looked at them. And they looked at us.
I looked at you.
Oh my God. I had a coworker that at the age of 26, 27, the only concert they had been to was a Weird Al concert ever in their life.
That's the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life.
It made me laugh because I was like, oh, I'm going to a Neo concert. And she was like, who's Neo? And I was like, first of all, jail. Second of all, and I was just talking about concerts. And she was like, I've only ever been to a Weird Al concert when I was like 12.
That's all I need to know.
I said, all right.
I'm a big Weird Al fan. Well, I wouldn't say big, I guess.
I was going to say, I didn't know this.
I appreciate Weird Al's art. Always have. I don't know much about him other than his music. So if he's controversial, I'm sorry.
I feel like I have to say, I hate that. I have to say that with everyone. I'm like, oh my God, I love so-and-so. Unless they did something. Asterisk. Like, you can never be all in, which I'm an all in type of person.
I'm never all in.
If I like something, I ride hard. It is my personality. I love it. And I always get crushed if like something bad happens. I'm like, oh.
I'm also a very big proponent of separating the person from their art.
Yes, because you have to.
Most people have faults, and most people are going to have things you don't agree with. There are others that are worse. Don't get me wrong. I very much will separate the person from their art. And then if I don't support something that they've done, then I find a way to get their art without paying for it.
I went to a concert of someone
We don't even have to talk about it.
I'm not going to say who it was.
I'm disappointed in you.
I went to a very controversial person's concert, and I didn't pay for the tickets. I was not going to pay for the ticket because I was like, I really don't support this person, but Ryan really likes their music, and he was unaware of all the things.
The controversy.
And I sent him, I think it was just like a thread of things or like a news story, and I was like, read this after we went to the concert, and he goes, oh my God. And like, he was genuinely like, I'm sorry.
Taken aback.
This is insane. I didn't think it was this bad. The artist makes fantastic music, so it's like, and it sucks. It really sucks. I didn't post that I was there. I didn't tell anybody I was going because I was kind of embarrassed. I was just like, hey, I'm gonna have a good time while I'm there, and nobody has to know.
Nobody's gonna know.
Now 20,000+ people know. But it's okay.
We'll move on. Our first story comes from Mimi, but not our Mimi.
Oh, I was about to say what?
No. Another Mimi in the comments. I'll start by saying everyone in my family always locks our doors. Good on you, Mimi.
As you should.
One day, my brother, sister, and I were all at school. My dad was at work, and my mom left the house to go on her daily walk. She locked the door as usual, and all other doors are always locked. She always makes sure the windows on ground level are shut as well, and our only basement window has metal bars keeping anyone from coming in.
Nice.
Bars on windows and doors, while aesthetically not very pleasing,
I'm for
they
it.
please my anxiety in my soul.
Yes. I love windows. I love natural light, but I'm afraid of them.
I'm okay with natural light with the shadow of a bar across the
Yes.
wall.
Yes. Little Harry Potter-esque, you know?
Yeah, I like that.
No.
Not really. She came back from her walk, unlocked the door, and came into the house. She walked into the kitchen and noticed, placed neatly on the counter, the daily newspaper that we were not subscribed to. No signs of a break-in, nothing. It definitely was not there when she left for her walk, and she called everyone in my family to see if anyone had passed by the house during her walk. No one had. To this day, no one in my family has any idea how the newspaper ended up on our kitchen counter. That would scare me to my core.
I was just about to say someone's living in the attic. Someone's frogging.
And getting the daily paper delivered to them.
Yes, and they just forgot. They were like,
speaking of Harry Potter,
around.
like Harry Potter cupboard under the stairs.
yes, Frogger in the attic.
Okay.
The amount of times I've mentioned frogging,
I know.
I'm
It's
gonna-
a big fear of yours, though.
it's a huge fear of mine.
We need merch literally that says we are a people of fear because we
Yes.
talk about our fears like on the daily.
I know, it's really bad. I wish I wasn't scared of things.
Me too. Me too.
I live a much more free life.
I still live my life. I'm just scared all the time.
My heart is racing, but I'm out there.
It's right now. Story number 2. One day I was at a bar in Arnprior, Ontario. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. With my boyfriend at the time. We were just hanging out, having a good time, chatting. Neither of us were drunk. We barely had a full drink yet. I had a necklace on, which was basically just a string knotted around my neck and a pendant. I was playing with the pendant when all of a sudden, I feel it come off the string. I'm thinking I must have broke the string, so I pulled on it, but it's intact, around my neck. And the knot is solid. So I look at the pendant thinking it must be broken. But it's in perfect condition. There was no way it could have just come off the string. No explanation. I looked at my boyfriend dumbfounded and he just brushed it off like it was nothing. It's been years and I still don't understand how that happened. Love your videos, ladies, especially the ghost stories, glitch in the matrix stories. Please keep it up.
Thank you. I have a thought. I have seen people say, you know how...
Adams.
Yes!
Okay. Yes! That's my first thought.
Oh
too.
my God. Because people are like, sometimes I punch a table hoping that the atoms just like move it the right way and I punch through it.
Has
What
that ever happened?
I doubt it. I really doubt it. But it is minutely possible in theory, I guess, if
Maybe.
or real.
I don't know anything about it other than people on social media have said it. So
I saw it on the internet, so it's true. Maybe that happened. But you know, people, magician type people that do
okay, yes.
how they
Like with
have the strings.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do they do that?
I mean, there are ways. I'm not a magician, so I couldn't tell you, but
My only theory is the atom thing, and I don't even know if that's true. Someone's
No.
going to comment, you imbeciles. No.
interesting. I don't know. I have no thoughts other than wow. So,
But I am intrigued. That's so confusing. I would
Mhm.
be scared.
shocked.
Shocked.
I'd probably never wear that necklace again.
I'd try to do it again. I'd probably put it back on and be like,
Mhm.
yeah,
Someone commented about us saying things at the same time.
I saw that. And they're like, you're so in tune. I was like,
Mhm.
what? I liked it. I don't know why.
Oh, you're like
I didn't mean to make the noise.
you were poking them. You remember when
Poking
you
on
could-
Facebook.
That's exactly what I was about to say. That's exactly.
R.I.P. Facebook.
Anyway, our next story comes from Chad. I have a glitch in the matrix story. A few years ago, we visited Hawaii for the first time. We stayed in a 3-star hotel a few streets away from the beach. It was a great experience aside from one of the 2 elevators not working the second day we were there. Our room was on the 28th of about 31 floors. The wait was going to be atrocious, or so I thought. The elevator took several stops going up but moved swiftly. Finally, I saw the shaft open and I stepped in. It's important to note that inside the elevator does not display the floor it's on or arrows going up or down. 3 stars, am I right? I get on my phone. I feel the elevator move. I know what my floor is. The door's open, and to the side is a big number 28 painted white on a light blue wallpaper. I'm internally freaking out. To not look like a weirdo, I glanced around me to see if anyone else noticed. Everyone I saw showed no expression, so I stood there dumbstruck. I kept my eyes on the ground to see every number until we reached the ground floor. I haven't shared the story until right now. It just felt right. Keep up the good work, ladies. To get on the elevator on the 28th floor, go down and the door's open and you're on the 28th floor, I'd be the same. Just kind of like, is anybody else seeing this?
It would make me extremely nervous, especially if I was like alone around strangers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do well.
Not since the elevator game.
Oh my God. Don't bring that back up. I don't do well around strangers if something is off or odd because I don't want to be like, ah, and freak everyone out or like look crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would react.
Inside, you'd be like that. But on the outside, you'd be like this.
No, you know what I would do? I'd go, and I'd walk off and be like, Mom,
Yeah.
and I would call her. And she sent that meme the other day
That was funny. I'll post it here.
and said, at Natalie.
In our group
Rude.
chat.
Rude. So rude. And then I
Rude.
called her.
Rude. The way you said that's what it reminded me of.
I called her and I was like, that is so rude. Do you not want me to call you like when I'm sick? Who else am I going to call? She's like, no, it's fine. You can call me. So why'd you send it? Why'd you send it, Deborah?
It's funny because it relates to you. It was. I mean, I'm sure.
I
just
texted you.
imagine.
I said, I threw up.
Yeah, you did.
We're doing too much talking.
We are. We need to get on with it. I'm sorry if you all hate us today. We're just in a weird mood. Our next story comes from Ryan. Hi, Ghosties. My name is Ryan, and I really love your podcast, and your recent Glitch in the Matrix episode reminded me of a time when something really strange happened to me. When I was in about 8th or 9th grade, I went to sleep one night. I said goodnight to my mom and everything, went to bed, and when I woke up, I was in my brother's bed with no explanation. Now, my brother's and my bedroom were attached to each other through a secret conjoined room. We both had a bookcase in each of our rooms that went to a shared room, but I always kept mine locked by keeping an Allen wrench in the lock hole. When I woke up in his bed, he was not in the room. It was mid-morning and one of our dogs was right up next to my face and his door was open. I woke up really confused because me and my brother fought a lot, so I didn't even really go into his room for any reason. I went to check in my room, but I don't remember if my door was open or closed, but my secret room, I remember distinctly, was locked and closed. So it had not been trifled with, and I hadn't gone through that way. I asked my mom about it, and I asked her to review the footage from our hall camera. We had a camera in our hallway for safety, and also so that me and my brother wouldn't sneak out at night and get on our phones. But I had my mom check through all the footage, and I looked through all the footage, and it detects movement. But there was no movement that entire night. You can see me go to bed and say goodnight to my mom and walk into my bedroom. But that camera had a perfect view of the path I would have had to take to go into my brother's room. And there was no footage of me going to my brother's room at all. I don't know if this means I teleported or if I switched timelines or something, but there was no reason for me to be in my brother's room. I've also never sleepwalked, and I have no memory of going in there for any reason, and I was fully in my brother's bed sleeping, and that's where I woke up. I was also relatively old when this happened. I was like 14 or 15, so this really was an uncharacteristic thing to happen at that age. So yeah, I have no idea. Let me know what you guys think. Love the pod, Ryan.
First of all, I was going to say before the camera thing, I was like, you just like sleptwalked in there?
Yeah.
Or is it sleptwalked, sleepwalked?
I don't know. We've had
You
this
walked
discussion.
in your
I don't
sleep.
remember.
You walked in your sleep to his room or, but the camera?
No, and I asked them, like, was your brother, like, in your room? What
Yeah,
happened?
did y'all switch?
And they said, I was alone in my brother's room that morning besides the dog, and his bedroom door was open. He did not wake up in my room that morning and hadn't changed at all during the night either, as far as I remember. He doesn't really remember it because he was pretty young, but both my parents remember. So weird.
How do you explain that? You teleported? Aliens?
They
Glitch?
teleported.
I don't know.
That's the only possible explanation for me, is teleportation. I truly don't know. That's a weird, mind-boggling one.
I don't know.
Very strange. So thank you, Ryan, for sending that in. We're stumped.
Kerfuffled? Is that the word?
I don't know, but I like it.
Is that a word?
Kerfuffle is a word. I don't know if you used it in the right context.
Either way, I like it.
A commotion or fuss.
Ah, I knew it. I was wrong.
This next one comes from Brandy, but not the Brandy.
Oh, I was about to say.
I emailed back because she starts it off with, hi, Brandy again. And I was like, OMG, Brandy, long time no see. And she was like, I think you're thinking of the wrong Brandy.
Oh, no.
So she had emailed us other stories because this was picked randomly.
Oh, okay.
So
That's
I found
awkward.
out. So shout out to all of the Brandys. I'm currently listening to your Glitch in the Matrix episode, and I remember when Just My Luck, the movie, came out. My sister and I were in our basement and fully, and I mean fully, watched the movie on TV. The same day, we saw the preview for the movie's release. My sister and I literally looked at each other and said at the same time that we watched that movie. My older sister was like, that's not possible, and we insisted we watch the movie. We did end up seeing the movie and told my sister that didn't believe us everything that happened in that movie.
I don't know why I got like really excited about this one.
Know.
I don't know because I feel like things like this happen with movies. Like what I said, I don't know if I've said it on the pod. I saw a preview for a movie in the theaters and it was called something else. And then a couple months later,
the movie came out, but it was a different name.
It was a different name. And I can't find anywhere on Google or anything where it says this was previously this or this was the trailer for this. It says
what movie was it?
I think called like The Black Phone.
So if anybody out there saw a preview for The Black Phone, but it was named something else prior to its release, let us know. Because it's been driving Natalie crazy for months.
It has. And then when we watched the movie, I was sitting in the movie going, what was it called? What was it called? And I cannot figure it out. But I know that I watched the preview for the first time months before and it was called something else. Yes.
Well, it might have been. But this is more glitch. Like they saw the movie on TV.
Yeah. But I can't find proof of that. That's why I got so excited about this. Did they like jump forward in time together and then come back before?
So like they experienced a glitch at the same time together?
Yeah.
That's
so,
a weird one too.
The movie was just readily available and then they're like, oh, go to sleep. Next day we wake up back where we were and the movie hasn't come out yet.
They said the same day.
Oh, the same day?
Yeah. We fully watched the movie on TV. The same day we saw the preview for the movie's release.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't either way. It was like we're sitting on the couch watching this movie, get up to go get a drink and come back and you're in a different timeline.
That would freak me out so bad.
Yeah, that's
and
weird.
If you and Kayla were telling me, yeah, we watched it, I would get so angry because I would think y'all were tricking me.
Yeah. But what if we gave you the entire plot of the movie and the resolution and everything, and then we watched the movie and it was true? Would you believe us or would you still think we were messing with you?
I would think you were messing with me. Somehow I'd be like, you
figured this out.
Yeah, I wouldn't believe you.
Thanks. Second glitch in the Matrix I've experienced was when I was at my friend's house on 4/15/11. Yes, I know the exact date because I was asleep at her house and had a dream that my dad had called me to tell me my pappy had passed away. In my dream, I answered the phone and talked to my dad. When I woke up on 4/16/11, I had told my friend about the dream and then I had a voicemail on my phone from the middle of the night to my dad telling me my pappy had passed. We both freaked out. I had literally no way of knowing he had passed. He was in the hospital. My mom and dad were both with him. Not only that, but normally my mom would call me, not my dad, but I knew it was my dad.
That to me doesn't give glitch in the Matrix. That one to me gives just kind of like he sent the sign or, some kind of like knowing.
The dad did to the daughter?
The one that passed away.
Pappy?
Yes. That either that or this person has, like premonition type dreams. You know what I mean?
But to have the voicemail of exactly what you dreamed about the night before?
That's insane.
Wild. We have a hard time talking about some of these stories because we literally are so flabbergasted. I cut them out, but a lot of times after we finish stories like this, the last episode and this episode, we just kind of look at each other like for like 30 seconds before we even speak because we're just in shock at what we have just heard.
It's hard for me to get words out for most of them.
Yeah, it's hard for me to conceptualize this at all.
Yeah. Because like I believe them, but I'm just like, how can this be?
Yeah, I fully believe it. I just have no clue how it's possible.
Yeah.
Our next one comes from Myri. Hi ladies, just listened to your Glitch in the Matrix episode and it dawned on me that this strange story I have could fall into this category. Crazy to think I'd never even realized it before. It just always evaded classification when I thought about how to describe it. You have my full permission to share it if you like this story, but trigger warning for suicide. So here's some background. When I was 23 or so, I dated a guy named Matt. He was easygoing, fun, not afraid to be silly around me, loved nature as much as I did, and was always so encouraging. He was truly a wonderful person, and though he had his quirks, as we all do, there was nothing about him that caused me concern. We were together for about 2.5 years, and now with hindsight, I can see clearly the signs I missed at the time, thinking his recent weird behaviors were purely stress, as we had just moved in together and he was looking for another job. Unfortunately, unbeknownst to me, he was schizophrenic and had stopped taking his medication. He had a major episode and believed that people were after him and that they would harm me if he didn't do something, so he decided to take his own life. He was cremated, and along with his family and some good friends, I spread his ashes in a fishing spot he loved. His brother, very kindly, had memorial lockets made for me and his mother. These lockets are different from traditional ones that open from the side. Instead, they have a hinge on the bottom and 2 small hoops on the top through which the chain goes. So in order to open it, you have to create slack in the chain. Inside was a tiny sealed canister of ashes. I wore that necklace for months after. One day, my mom's cousin came to visit. He's like a second father to me and one of my favorite people, and he was staying at a hotel with a pool. I'm in Florida, so even though it was only April or May, it was plenty hot, and my siblings and I visited him and we hung out at the pool. Now, I'd never had any issues with the necklace coming open unexpectedly, and didn't even consider that it might until I'd already been swimming for a while. As you might be guessing, by the time I thought of it, the urn had fallen out. In a panic, we all started diving and searching around. It was a scary moment for me, thinking it may have fallen into the drain at the bottom, but luckily my brother found it. I know, I just breathed a sigh of relief.
I know.
After finding it, I sat down and intended to put it back and tuck it away somewhere safe. But to my surprise, the locket had come apart at the bottom. Weird, but I figured maybe the pin holding the hinge together had come loose. When I looked closer, I realized that the pin was still in place and all the rings through which the pin went were also intact. I have no explanation for how this could have happened, as the pin is soldered to the outer hoops. I will include a picture, which you can also share, because I'm not sure how easy it is to understand or visualize. None of the four of us there had any explanation for how this could have happened. At the time, I simply took it as a sign from beyond that I wasn't meant to keep carrying the burden of this pain around my neck. In life, Matt had made a point of telling me that my dad, who had passed when I was 14, wouldn't want me to hold on to the sadness because he loved me, and it felt like the necklace was a reminder that despite his choice to go, Matt loved me and didn't want me to hold on to the pain. For years, I've wondered how it could be explained. Ghostly intervention, as I'd first thought. Maybe some sort of molecular phenomenon, as we talked about. Now I realize most people would think of this as a glitch in the Matrix. I personally don't believe we are in a simulation, but I am open to the idea that reality glitches sometimes. But I'm inclined to think there's meaning to it. The universe is far more strange and mysterious than we can fathom. I have plenty more stories to tell, but for the sake of convenience, I'll try to send them as attachments in a future email if you're interested. Some of these are loosely related to Matt's death, and some that happened a few years prior when I lived with one of my theater friends. Thanks for being my entertainment while I do household chores. I hope you have a lovely holiday season and receive many blessings in the new year. Much love, Myri.
Thank you. Okay, so at first I was a little bit confused, but after seeing the photo, I don't know how that happened.
It's even more confusing.
Yes, for a different reason.
Yes.
At first I was like, okay, the necklace broke, yeah. All right. That photo,
they could not explain how it had come undone and come apart.
I don't understand how it came apart, and I love the explanation and the feeling that this person got, that knowing
Matt told them,
was like, hey, let it go, I love you
and I don't want you to feel pain.
Yeah,
I think that's beautiful too.
I think that's beautiful. And
so maybe are spirits causing some of these glitches?
Maybe.
I mean, obviously there's no reason for a spirit to give you access to a movie months before.
Yes,
but
hey, you
for
never
something
know.
True, maybe it taught you a lesson for something you're going to handle.
Good movie, by the way.
And I never thought about that. I never thought of this is a ghost podcast, and I never thought of ghost intervention,
Yeah, this one feels nice. The only word I ever come up with is beautiful, but beautiful.
I'm so sorry about Matt, but I do like that you have this, this moment to look on and know that he was reaching out to you.
Okay.
Saying, hey, I love you. Release your pain.
Yeah. For sure.
Our next story comes from Carolina. Hi girls, I just watched your video about glitches in the Matrix, and this made me remember something that happened to me when I was around 17. I was in my bedroom talking to my mom. She was sitting by the edge of my bed, and I was sitting cross-legged in the middle. I remember I was laughing really hard for some reason, and I laid back on the bed. Then everything changed. I was suddenly alone in the middle of a flower field. It was daytime, unlike in real life, and I was just sitting and humming, looking at the flowers. I was wearing a dress, and I was looking at myself like I was in a dream from another POV, but I knew it was me. This lasted for about 5 seconds, but then I came back and sat back down on the bed, heart pounding. My mom was talking like normal, like nothing had happened, even though I was sure I had been gone for a bit. Yet, she didn't notice anything weird at all. It had felt so real, like I was literally in another place. And even still, I had no idea how it happened or why. I think I saw myself from another timeline, but I'm just lost.
I've never heard anything like that.
That is a real slip into another timeline.
Like a quick little oops.
Like a moment of, she leaned back, and then suddenly she was in a different body from a different point of view, watching herself in a different place, and then sat back up and was back.
That would
nothing had happened.
That would make me freak out. I would be screaming.
And it was several seconds. So it's not like it was just like a quick closed her eyes and saw something and then opened.
Yeah.
It was like several seconds of just sitting there in a different place.
I'm curious to know how that looked from the mom's point of view.
Well, it seems like...
Was she just like, ha ha ha, and kept laughing to the mom's point of view? But in her mind, she was just, wow.
Yeah, that one's mind-blowing. I like that one, though. It scares me, but at the same time, it's so cool
Yeah.
The thought of being able to just like see a different timeline or a different something, reality of some sort.
It's cool, but I don't want to experience something like that.
Much better than slipping into a new place and a new timeline and everything's changed and you're the only one that remembers your past.
True.
Or your previous life.
Very true. But
a quick little glimpse.
I want to stay right here. I'm good here.
So she followed up with another email and said, "Hi, sorry for sending this back to back, but after I sent the first email, I started reading some of the comments on your video, and I remember 2 more weird instances that happened to me. I love how people will read other people's comments and spark a memory or realize that they've experienced something weird. So comment all the things, guys."
Oh, yeah, me too. I love seeing the interactions in the comments, and then if someone comments something, seeing a bunch of likes on it, knowing that people are reading it and, getting ideas. It makes me feel like
I get excited for the likes on a comment like it's my own comment.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, oh my gosh, 13 likes. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
The first one is quite creepy. I was at the mall with some friends and we had just watched a movie. Can't remember which one as this was about 12 years ago. And after that, we grabbed some lunch. Then we decided to walk around the mall and see what's new. And for some reason, there was a small exhibit about medieval torture devices. We decided to enter because why not? There were some things that I can't remember and some that I had seen in books. It was all creepy, but nothing major happened until the very end. When we were about to exit, there was this metal cage sitting on the floor. It barely reached my waist, but it was large enough for a person to fit in. Very uncomfortably, obviously. And as I was taking a look, I was transported somewhere else. I was suddenly inside the cage, kneeling down and looking at the raging sea below me. The cage was secured with metal bars and chains, and it dangled at the side of a cliff. I remember being very cold and hungry and only wearing a flimsy white dress. All I knew is that I couldn't escape and that I was going to die there. Then the noises and the light of the mall came back, and I just stood there wondering what the heck had just happened. My friends were chatting like normal, all while I was trying to adjust being back. I didn't say anything to anyone because I was still very confused, but it all had been very vivid. I could swear it was real.
Does this person have some kind of gift of
seeing their past lives?
I don't know if it's past lives, but it's, how some people can touch an object and they can like sense things or feel things or see someone.
Happened.
Is this person seeing the cage and then seeing what happened in that cage to someone else from their point of view?
Maybe, and that's really interesting if so.
Because that feels more likely to me than it actually being that person.
But well, my thought was that they just happened upon this object that was used on them in a past life, and that's why they had this vision.
Could be, but
that
then
was
again,
my thought, but I like your idea too.
But then again, there's like the other story too. So now I'm thinking this person has some kind of knowing, seeing,
and visions.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe.
Really cool though.
Very interesting and a little scary. The thought of being in the middle of just
the mall,
hanging out with your friends at the mall, and then suddenly you're dangling over a cliffside.
That's pretty insane. They're a little intense.
Story 2. I was in the movies with my sister. We were watching the movie about Coco Chanel. It came out more than 10 years ago, I think. It might be older though. Everything was normal until this bit came up. The main actress stepped into a hallway, lots of lights, windows, and doors, and my heart sank. I just thought, I remember that place, and this deep feeling of nostalgia filled my whole being. I thought I was going to cry. It was so vivid, it became hard for me to think. It really was like watching a place that I'd been to before, but not in this lifetime. It took me days to shake the feeling off, and when I rewatched the movie years later, I didn't see that scene again, although I remember it clearly to this day. If you've watched the movie, was there really such a scene? Thanks for your amazing podcast. Kind regards, Carolina.
Thank you. I haven't seen the movie.
Me neither.
I don't know. So
if anybody in the comments has seen that movie, was there a point where they were in a hallway with lots of lights, windows, and doors? Was there ever a scene at that point?
Let us know. Either this person has lived really cool multiple lives, or they are...
Well, I wouldn't say cool.
Well, okay. They've lived multiple past lives, like I mentioned before.
They're just getting senses of others.
They can feel other people, which I think either one is really kind of cool.
Very interesting.
Yes. These stories are really, I'm into this. Whatever's happening.
Whatever this is.
I'm into it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Our next one comes from Andrea. Hi, Ghosties. My name is Andrea. I recently watched your Glitch in the Matrix episode, and I wanted to share a Glitch in the Matrix moment I had experienced with others one time. This was about 3 years ago. When I was 18, my boyfriend and I decided to go to a late dinner with 2 mutual friends. We decided we'd all carpool together, so my boyfriend and I went to go pick up our friends. We picked up our friends, and for the sake of privacy, let's call them Tyler and Ian. The drive to Denny's was about 20 minutes away, as we lived in a small town next to a bigger one. Tyler and Ian had been a bit under the influence, but they weren't completely gone. We get to Denny's, and as we're getting out of the car, Ian realizes his phone is missing. We spent about 10 minutes outside of the restaurant helping him look for the phone in the car. We all knew he was under the influence, so we asked him if maybe he lowered the window and it slipped out or something. He told us that he didn't, and that he was talking to us the entire ride. We assumed he probably did throw it out and just forgot about it or something. We ended up just eating and looking after. We continued our search in the car, and after 30 minutes of calling the phone, checking under the seats, in the sleeves, cup holders, trunk, and under all the mats, we didn't find it anywhere. We got in the car and were about to drive home when suddenly someone had answered Ian's phone. We had been calling it like crazy, and a man answered. "Hello? Is this your phone?" The man on the other end asked. "Yes, this is my phone. How did you get it?" Ian responded. "I found it on the side of the street, across the street from the Quick Trip. We told the man we'd be on our way to get it. But when we looked for the nearest Quick Trip, we noticed it was right next to Denny's. The weird thing is, we never even drove on that side of the road. We came from the opposite side and entered the Denny's, never passing the gas station. So, how did the phone end up on the other side of the street? I'm not sure, and to this day, my friends and boyfriend cannot explain it." I hope I explained this okay, as I've got ADHD and suck at writing stories. Currently, I now drive that car, and some things in it have just gone missing. I bought a car vacuum about 6 months ago that I keep in the car because I don't want anyone to use it. I'm overly protective of my things because my siblings have a history of breaking or misplacing my belongings.
You know what sibling trauma I have?
What?
Every time I have a snack in the pantry, Ryan gets mad because I'm like, eat it, eat it, eat it. I have to eat it because in my brain, you and Kayla are coming for it.
Oh my god.
You're coming for the cosmic brownies. You're coming for my chips. I have to eat the snacks. But it's not like we
saw, ooh, brownies. Let me eat all 7 brownies in this box.
It wasn't vindictive. It wasn't evil. It was just...
No one should touch your snacks?
Every man for himself. If there's good snacks in the house, I'm eating them today.
Well, if you had a car when we lived there, you probably would have hid your things in the car like
and that's why I'm saying
Andrea did.
I relate to that. And I wouldn't call it a trauma. I'm just being dramatic.
We're all a little hyperbolic sometimes.
I am most of the time. And I hope that comes across. I hope people don't think I'm just like insane.
There may be some. Sometimes I do think you're insane. Occasionally.
You.
So the last time I vacuumed my car, which was about a month ago, I made sure to store the vacuum with all its accessories attached to it on the sides. About a week ago, I opened my trunk to get the vacuum and the accessories I had attached to the side were gone. Now, I am the only person who drives my car and I hadn't let anyone drive it. I always lock it and never leave it unlocked because my lights only turn off when I lock it. So I'm not sure if my car is a portal or what. I hope these stories were okay. I have other spooky stories about sleep paralysis, a black orb floating into my wall, and my family's experiences growing up in a haunted house. I love your pod so much. I listen to it while I take a shower and do my hair. I have curly hair, and it's so tedious to maintain, let alone wash, but this podcast makes it worth it. Thanks for the spooky stories, and keep up the great work. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay,
so portal car.
We one day are going to do a deep dive into portals because
I thought you were
need
going to
it.
say one day drop into a portal.
No.
Like,
No,
No, please.
I need a portal video to explain to me what they are, how they can occur. Is it a stationary thing? Can it move? Can it be a car? Because I don't know.
We're going to have to just do like an odds and ends video of just like all the things we have no clue about, where I just do like mini deep dives into everything.
That's going to be the longest video on YouTube.
Yeah.
How did the phone
end up? So it's like Denny's is here. Quick Trip's here. They came from this side and turned into Denny's, and it was over here.
Unless there is a little evil elf that is running into the car, grabbing things and be like, hey, and taking it to the other side.
Maybe. So fairies?
Fairies? Question mark?
What? And why the Quick Trip? Did all of the vacuum accessories end up at the Quick Trip too?
Oh my God, imagine.
It's just a portal to that.
Imagine.
To the gas station.
They have the only car that's actually like a teleportation machine, and it's all, you can only go to the Quick Trip.
This one specific one too. That would be
honestly cool.
Cool. Yeah.
Fine.
Like middle of the night, I want like a Almond Joy or Hershey's bar.
Yeah. Almond Joy, how dare you?
Sorry.
That's
I'm a weird
my
coconut lover.
That's my one when people are like, what superpower would you like to have?
Teleportation?
That is my one. Because I like to sleep in, and I would love being like, okay, I have to be there at 9 so I can wake up at 8:30, get ready, and boom, I'll be there.
I'm about to tell you something weird.
What?
Not that weird.
Oh, okay.
Weird for me to think about. So there was one night where I couldn't sleep and all I thought about was teleportation. How that could even be humanly possible. How that could be physically, scientifically possible. And I was like, well, what if there was a way to, I don't know, like Willy Wonka style. Like
I was going to say.
Scramble your atoms or whatever.
Willy Wonka.
But what if atoms are just flying through the air all the time and you get like a weird situation where it's like people take other people's atoms with them and then every time they transport they look like a different person or they have different characteristics or
they have like an arm sticking out of their cheek, like
or
they
that.
Just take a body part.
I didn't think mutants, but yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is like something that's been on my mind since I thought about it like 8 years ago.
They've got like 5 eyes, one's on their shoulder.
I was thinking like suddenly you have a birthmark here that you didn't before, but
oh,
but yes, that too.
Okay. Yeah, no, I've thought that exact same thing.
Have you?
Yes, I have. Because Willy Wonka,
so that we can't
like,
be the only one.
What if we are?
Oh no, I have learned that we're not.
Sometimes I think
anytime I think I must be, no, I'm not.
Sometimes I think me, you, and Kayla kind of share one brain. There's like a hub, and it just shoots out little messages to us individually, but it's the same thing.
That would make sense.
We feel very connected neurologically.
That would make sense because a lot of the times when I'm thinking about calling you, you'll call me or vice versa. Like you'll pick up the phone to text me and I had just sent you a message.
It's every time.
Weird.
We need to move on.
Okay. Sorry. These, as I said, we're in a weird mood, so.
I'm in a very strange mood.
Skip.
I don't know.
Skip this one. Okay, our next one comes from Meagan. Hi, Ghosties. I've been watching your podcast for a while now, and I enjoy listening to your videos in the background while I do chores and spooking myself. I've always been into ghosts and the supernatural, but I've only had 2 experiences. My first story I believe to be a glitch in the Matrix. It could also be a glitch with my phone lines, but I'm not very tech savvy. Anyway, one day I was hanging out with my friends after school and playing D&D when I received a phone call from my other friend. I walked outside onto the porch and answered, but when I did, my friend started freaking out. She said that she had called me a few seconds ago, and when she did, a man picked up. She said she asked for me, but the man didn't know what she was talking about. She looked down to make sure it was my phone number and contact, and it was. Thinking that I might have been kidnapped, she hung up and called me again just to make sure before calling the police. And when she did, I picked up. I didn't receive a call from her before that one.
I was going to say my first call would be the police.
Yeah?
Immediately, I'm not calling you back because I don't want to talk to that man. I'm calling the cops.
Has your phone?
Yes. That is so scary.
Yeah.
The fear.
I think my stomach would immediately just drop.
If I called you and some man answered, like when Jake answers your phone sometimes, I'm like, huh. And then I remember
there is a man
you
living
have a
in my
husband.
house.
Yes.
Yeah, I would be pretty freaked, I think.
Does this happen with phones?
Never
happened to me.
I know a little about a lot of things, and my expertise does not reach that far.
I mean, I don't know how the phone lines work. It doesn't make sense to me. And I don't want to know. It's too much. Like the internet.
But I want to know for this case.
I do want to know if it's possible. I mean, I'm sure it's possible, but
and it was a cell phone too.
That's the thing. How do phone calls get intercepted with cell phones?
Unless you have like an FBI agent.
Oh my God.
They accidentally picked up.
And they just played it cool like, oh.
No clue who that is.
No.
I'm totally kidding.
I don't believe in the FBI agent theory. I think they have more important things to do.
I agree. I thought it was a funny meme for a while.
It was, and then it got not
But
funny.
it's just like funny. It's like my FBI watching me like spend hours watching cat videos or some random crap.
Mine's slime videos sometimes.
Mine's hoof trimming videos.
Yes.
The hooves. The Hoof GP shout out on YouTube. Love them. Watched the Hoof GP all the time. Like my hero. If I were ever to go to Scotland and run into the Hoof GP, that is one person that I think I might be like
starstruck.
Is this him?
Oh my God. No.
So if anybody else watches him, let me know.
I like to watch ones where they have like little Play-Doh balls covered with like paint or like plaster or whatever.
Smush them?
And they smush them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Those
I'm real into that. And like kinetic sand too, where they cut it.
Yeah, I
real
like that
into
too.
that.
I like it too. But I like to have a story to go along with those. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like a Reddit story.
AI reading Reddit. Yeah. Oh, I hate that so much.
But I watch them.
Enjoy it. But I enjoy the story. Anyway,
how did we get here?
I don't know. This is a weird day. This is a good episode for the day because
I'm feeling real weird. It's the glitch in the Matrix. I can't fathom it. I
Fries
can't.
our brains.
I can't firmly grasp it. So it's like, I just have to think something else. It's too much. It's way too much.
Our next one comes from Olivia. Hey girlies, I've been a listener for a while and love to have the podcast vid up while I'm playing Minecraft in the tab beside it. It really satisfies my ADHD needing to be occupied by two things at once. So this first story happened to me in August of 2020. My sister and I went camping in the forest outside of State College, PA, and her best friend's boyfriend, and boyfriend's best friend. We also stopped in Philly to pick up their other friend on the way there, so 6 of us in total. I will give some background before I really get into the story because it explains how I ended up in that situation. The first day, we went hiking. My sister was a dummy and didn't drink enough water, so when day 2 rolled around, she was severely dehydrated and I had to bring her to the nearby ER at like 8 a.m. I was 17 at the time and my sister and her friends were all around 23 to 25 years old. Everyone else wanted to get as early of a start as they could due to the heat and humidity. So they let me know what trail they were taking and set off as I brought my sister to the ER. So the car situation was all 4 of them in my sister's best friend's boyfriend's car, and I was alone in mine since my sister was going to sit this hike out due to her ailments. By the time I got on the road to the hiking spot, it had been about 1 hour since they left, so I guess they were some distance ahead of me on the trail. I drove down the road it was on and saw the ranger station, as well as the aforementioned boyfriend's car parked out front of it. His car was quite distinct. It was a new 2020 light blue CRV, and he had a veteran plate that consisted of just numbers, no letters. We also were from Massachusetts, so his plate stood out amongst the typical Pennsylvania plates we had been seeing during this trip. As I pulled into the parking lot, I scanned the car up and down to make sure it was their car and was 100% convinced it was. So I parked a space away from it and even considered leaving a note on the windshield explaining what time I arrived and how long I expected to be in case they came back to the car while I was still on the trail, but ended up deciding not to and just started the hike. About 15 minutes into my hike, I saw them a distance ahead of me coming towards me, so I assumed they had doubled back on the trail and were on their way back to the car. We got caught up and started walking down the trail the same way I came from, and slowly but surely I realized that they had not double backed on the trail and actually started the trail from the opposite direction because you could walk it starting at either end. As we neared the parking lot for the ranger station, I noticed their car was not parked in the parking lot next to my car and asked them why they had moved it during that time. They all looked at me like I had 7 heads and explained that they were parked down at the official parking lot for the trail, which was about half a mile farther down the road, and that's why they were walking in the direction I saw them. So, somehow, I parked next to their car at the ranger station, but 15 minutes later, I met up with all 4 of them, and we walked the 15 minutes back down the trail, and their car was gone. They were telling me that they never parked there in the first place, and they had no clue what I was talking about. I wouldn't have thought to park there if I hadn't seen their car parked there in the first place. Was it the universe playing a trick on my mind to make the situation happen where I found them more easily than if I had kept driving the half mile down the road and parked next to their actual car? Also, I can't help but wonder that if I had left a note on their windshield, if it would have been on the windshield of their actual car that was parked half a mile away. I still have no clue what that was about, and it boggles my mind trying to understand it to this day. I thought the same thing when I first read it. Like, if she had left a note, would it have been there when they got back to the car?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Also, I didn't think about, universe intervening and making it to where they can get caught up or something like that, but that's really cool.
You know what this just made me think of? It's that phenomenon, like, does it exist if you're not there to observe it?
Oh, I cannot.
And so, like, right now, our cars are parked outside, but are they there? If we're not there to observe it, are they there? Are they somewhere else? And then when we get back there, because that's where we last observed them, are they going to be there when we leave this house?
You told me this in like 2016.
Yeah.
And it has blew my mind ever since.
I learned about it in one of my English classes. I think I was taking like surreal literature or something like that. Some obscure English course. He mentioned it at the beginning of class. I didn't hear a single word he said for the rest of the day because I was like that meme, that picture of the girl with like all the numbers around her. You know what I'm talking about?
I start to think, do my friends exist? Is Macy moving around the world right now? Or is she just frozen in time, waiting for me to start doing something? Yes.
Very weird. So what are the odds that it was just someone had a very similar car with very similar plates?
And see, I was thinking that, but I didn't want to be like pessimistic. But I mean, if you really think about it, the Massachusetts plate, the same car, the same color, the veteran license plate, like it's way too
specific.
Yes.
To be a coincidence.
I mean, it could be. It could be someone just happens to have that exact same car, but it seems like the probability is low.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
I have another weird story that took place in June of 2021 with my husband. We were dating at the time. at the dude ranch we worked at in Northern California. We had been living with his parents at the time, and the ranch was about a 20-minute drive away, so he had been working there for about 9 months prior to me moving in with him. I moved to California from Massachusetts a couple months prior and was having trouble finding a job. This happened on my first day of work, but I had given him a tiger's eye pendant necklace a few days prior as protection for him since he was a horseback riding trail guide, and I wanted him to have some extra spiritual protection while riding on the trails. When we were getting ready that morning, he couldn't find the necklace anywhere. He didn't wear it while sleeping, and the spot he usually kept it was bare. There was also no way it could have gotten stuck in one of his shirts because he had put a clean undershirt on that day and a clean button-up. We both just waved it off and got in the truck to go to work because we were already a little behind and didn't have time to look for it further. The whole day goes by without any complaint, and it isn't until I'm about to clock out for the day when he comes into the lodge where I was working to get me so we could go home after his shift had just ended. I gave him a hug and noticed there was something underneath his shirt that was poking me, so I tried feeling it over his shirt, and it felt like the pendant necklace I gave him, but thought I was losing my mind until I made him unbutton his shirt. There was the necklace on his neck. When I tell y'all, we looked everywhere that morning. I mean everywhere. Also, there was physically no possible explanation for how it got on his neck when he had put 2 freshly washed shirts that morning and went to bed bare-chested. We can't really understand why that would even happen in the first place because the necklace was meant for him, but it was my first day at work, so if I had needed the extra protection, why wouldn't it have shown up on my neck or in my pocket or something? He is about 90% a skeptic about all types of paranormal stuff, but to this day, it still shakes him, and I, up about how it logically could have occurred. I have some more typical paranormal stories that I've experienced, but these are always the most interesting ones I whip out at parties to mess with people's minds. Hope you gals enjoyed, and I'll probably write in the future about my other spooky experiences if you'd like. Olivia.
Thank you.
We
Please
would
do.
like.
That's insane to me because if they were running around the house looking for it, wouldn't she see it on his neck?
Even if he had gotten dressed, like when he put his shirts on, he would have known it was there.
You could feel it.
When he's running around the house, I'm like sure he would know it was there. I personally, if I couldn't find my necklace,
First place I would look is
there. And if I didn't feel it there, I'd look around the house.
Yeah.
And then I'd check again.
Same.
Appleton back up on his neck on her first day of work.
I don't know much about tiger's eye or what it does. So what exactly is the lore? Can you tell me?
I will.
Just a quick Google search.
Powerful stone that aids in releasing fear and anxiety, promoting mental clarity and grounding the energies of the sun and earth. Very spooky, very strange.
I wouldn't even say spooky, just
All
how?
unexplainable things to me are spooky.
I guess.
If I can't explain it, if there's no explanation readily available in my mind, I'm spooked.
Okay. I'm not spooked. I'm
Kerfuffled.
I was just about to say kerfuffled, but I didn't want to say it.
Again.
Yes. And
That's
it's
so
not even the
funny.
correct use.
No, it's not. It was funny.
But I loved the word.
These
Get
were
out
good
of my
stories.
brain. Please get out of my brain.
Sorry, we spend too much time together.
Yeah.
No, our hub is like active right now. Kayla's probably
I was
texting
about
us.
to say.
Like, why am I thinking of the word kerfuffle?
If I would have looked at my phone just now and Kayla texted, I would have screamed.
It's too late for her.
She's out.
asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, everyone, for sending in your glitch stories. If you have any more, we obviously would love to hear them so that we could sit here and just like
No.
freak out the whole time.
If you hated this video, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
We
I'm
talked
sorry. We did.
so much.
I might have to cut a lot of it out.
Yeah. And what's funny is before we started filming, we had like a raging, angry conversation about stuff. Not towards each other, just the
about
world.
Other things happening.
And then we were like, ha ha ha, as soon as we started. So I don't know.
This brings me joy.
Yeah.
Like I
that's
could be
true.
in the worst. I could have the worst day possible. And then I start reading these stories and immediately I perk up.
I have fun doing this.
So I sometimes will watch our videos back, like after editing, and think about how I had a bad day. And you can kind of see it on my face. I'm just like, hi.
Mm-hmm.
And then throughout the video, I just get like happier and happier.
Yeah.
I just start
Same.
having a good time. So
Yeah.
thank you, everyone, because these stories help us get our minds off of the negative things in our lives and that are happening all around the world and
And I hope it does that for
affecting
you.
us. Yes, I hope you're all along for the ride with us and can get a little joy in your day with these stories as well, even if they're scaring the pants off of you, like
Yeah.
some of them do.
Grandpa's gonna soothe the pants off.
Like,
Santa.
okay. we gotta go. We have to end this. Thank you. If you like this video, please like it, share it with your friends if you feel compelled to do so, and subscribe for more. If you would like to, you can follow us on Instagram at Ghosteas Pod. We post random things there sometimes. Oh, and if you're listening on audio, please give us 5 stars. That helps a lot too. If you have a story that you would like to share with us, a glitch in the matrix, a ghostly encounter, anything, even if you don't want to share us on the pod, if you just want to tell us your life story, I'm down to read it. You can send it to us at ghosteaspod@gmail.com. That's GHOSTEASPOD@gmail.com. It's also in the description and the show notes down below, so you can go click that and find it written for you.
Yes. Even if you want to just tell us some gossip, just email us.
What's going on in your town?
What's the niche tea? Leave us. You know what? I'm feeling the orangutan.
Okay. I didn't know that existed. Leave an orangutan or some kind of monkey emoji.
Yeah. Because that's how I felt today. Really orangutan-esque.
Have your conversations down below too, because a lot of this will jog people like, oh, I actually do have an experience that relates here.
Yeah.
And so we'd love to hear that too. And again, we apologize if you hated this episode. There's probably a lot that I'm going to have to cut out because it was just a yap fest today.
But I had fun.
I had a good time.
And that's why we're here, ultimately.
I feel relieved. I feel
Me too.
Like that collective deep breath we took at the beginning. I feel like I've released it
Me
by
too.
the end of this.
Me too.
Are you laughing at me?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm just having fun.
Okay, me too. I'm having a lot of fun. We'll see you on Thursday. Goodbye.
Goodbye.